Welcome back to the Ambition Over Fear platform. I'm Atlas Opia, and I provide practical quantum skill sets that help you navigate interdimensional consciousness. And in today's video, I want to talk about how to use the properties of the elements here on Earth to provide assistance when we're doing alchemy. When we want to transform an aspect of ourselves or reality from one form into another. The key into that is understanding a simple equation that I kind of created. A plus B equals C, right? So if you imagine there's an energy that you want to change into another energy, that original energy is A. B is a catalyst that helps turn A into a new energy, and that new energy is C. A plus B equals C. So the beautiful art of alchemy can be expressed through many different forms of consciousness. If we look at the universe, alchemy is simply two energies coming together to make another energy. And although energy cannot be created or destroyed, what can happen instead is energy can break down into smaller pieces of energy, and those smaller pieces of energy can create another form of energy. So just imagine bubbles, and that process of kind of a large bubble breaking down into smaller bubbles, similar to when you look at water, right? So we see alchemy in everything, because every single thing we're interpreting through our mind is us interacting with a different quantum field in the universe. And the more we expand our consciousness and raise our ability to tap into higher frequencies, we're truly just allowing our mind to unlearn the things that we came into this matrix with. Because at the time, the program of the matrix may not be sufficient enough to where we're trying to go as a collective right now. So we have to alter how we interact with our mind, and what we have to unlearn from our mind and realize that our soul is the entire universe. So we're just remembering what is true. So to get into the four elements, the first one I want to talk about, and it's my favorite one to talk about because it's so misunderstood, is fire, right? When we grow up, some of us have had influential energy from our environment that cause us to think fire is a bad thing, or that feeling of force is something that is not high frequency, because we can feel fire sometimes in our emotions, such as anger. And when we have that urge to go do something, if we don't direct it towards something creative, it just creates a level of hostility and aggressiveness inside of us. So fire is a catalyst, right? So remember the equation, A plus B equals C. A is the old energy, or the energy you want to change. B is what you do to that energy to then allow that to become the new energy you want to experience, which is C. So how do you know when to apply fire, the element of fire, to a situation? How do you know when it's calling you to really use it for your own benefit? Well, if you feel at times like you're going towards a goal, you want to manifest something, you would like to see your life look a different way, and you create a structure of habits and actions and ways of being that can get you there, and you're going, right? You have that motivation, you feel like you're pushing forward, but you feel as if you're dragging your feet. You feel as if you need more fuel in the engine. And at times, our higher self knows we can achieve something, so we feel great when we're in that higher dimensional self and we're approaching a goal or manifestation. But our lower dimensional self, which is our body and our mind, is often repeating cycles of thought and emotion based on how we experienced this area of life in our past years. And remember, higher and lower is not an indication of better or worse. It's just describing the level and potency of frequency that each dimension holds. Okay? So when you're feeling as if you are kind of battling yourself, right? Your higher self is like, yeah, I can do this. I know what to do. You feel good doing it. But then your mind comes in and you may have insecurities about what you're doing. You may have a self-sabotaging way of approaching a situation because you don't feel like you deserve to have it. All these things are not to be discarded because they're shadow or low frequency. They're meant to be understood because what you have is you have the timeline you're moving into conflict with a timeline that you embodied in the past. And what that is that means that you're moving towards one parallel reality and another parallel reality is still active because it's in your subconscious mind. And in order for you to quantum jump into this new parallel reality, you have to face the patterns that have embedded themselves into your cellular DNA from the old parallel realities. And a parallel reality is simply a pattern of energy that is very bold and has a lot of inertia around it, and that creates a trajectory of life. And when you're living in a pattern of energy, you'll notice that the things you manifest, the way you're living, how you feel about yourself and the world hold a certain theme. So if you've been different people throughout your life or different versions of yourself, those are parallel realities. So to use fire in this situation is you truly can visualize the image of fire, or you light a candle, or you're next to a fireplace and you see how the fire, when it's controlled, is very majestic in its movement. When the fire is not controlled, it can harm things, burn things down. Uncontained fire is not good as an element. So what you do is you harness and you tap into that element through your abilities to shapeshift. As an empath, you know, if you've become energy unconsciously through your life, it means that your energetic field is more flexible. And if you pull in people's energy easy, which also means that you're an empath, it just means that your energetic field is more adaptable than most people. And so shapeshift, feel into the energy of the fire, and then bring that energy into the moment where you may feel stagnant in life or a situation, and allow your higher self to thrust you beyond that limitation. Okay? Now, step 2, okay, and element 2 is water. Now, when do you know when to use the catalyst of water to allow you to transform more easily, right? And now remember, the equation is A plus B equals C. A is the old energy, and B is what frequency you have to apply to the old energy in order for that old part of you to become a new energy, which is C, okay? You know when to apply water to your situation, the element of water, when you feel like you're navigating the situation, but the circumstances are calling you to go outside of your comfort zone. The situation, the survival of the situation requires you to do things that are different from the usual way you do things. Right? It's threatening your ego, and sometimes what happens is when you are moving from an old identity into a new identity, those cycled thoughts will come up trying to keep you in one way of living. And so water itself, the element of water, is being flexible. Water goes where it needs to. Water moves around the rocks and it flows into any space where it's allowed. Water is more receptive. Water is more free-flowing. So when you're in that situation, remind yourself, okay, I need to apply the element of water. And then talk to your mind, talk to the subconscious thoughts that are trying to stay alive that no longer benefit you, and tell yourself, in order for me to move from this old energy into this new energy, I have to be more flexible. I have to let go of my old ways of doing things, and I have to examine the ways my thoughts and emotions are associated to this area of life. And the best way to do that is first realize that you're being binded, you're jailing yourself, and then from that moment forward, just be into a position where you're more accepting of these new stretches in yourself. When something in a situation is making you go outside of your comfort zone and it's happening a lot and you feel irritated, that means that you should look at these things as a way for you to stop being irritated and move into more joy. Because when you move into these unknown territories of self, you're going to be expanding yourself and evolving and growing, and you're going to feel more lighthearted because you're being more adaptable to the field, right? Now, step 3 and element 3 is wind. Now, how do you know when to apply wind to an old energy or a situation you're in, or a place in life you find yourself at the moment, in order for that energy to move into a new energy? You know what you want, you may know where you're at. So where you want to go is the C in the equation, A plus B equals C, and the A is the old energy, what you want to change. When you're applying wind, it's when you know that your mind is getting stumped at what to do next. You may have worry when you're in a process of manifesting a new experience or improving your business or expanding into a new way of life. You know what you want, but you may not know the next move, and you're getting worried that your next move might not be efficient, so you're putting this pressure on yourself. Wind is free flowing. Wind does not hold a particular understanding of where it's going. It is pushed and it goes where it's supposed to go. So applying wind to your situation means that you move into a realization and communicate with your mind that, hey, right now we don't know what to do. But it doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen, as you're communicating with your mind from your observer self. You imagine your mind is sitting across from you and you're having a conversation with it, and you tell your mind, we want to win, right? You use a structure of your mind to help you. You don't allow the functionalities of the mind to put you in a place of entrapment. So you have a conversation with your mind and you say, hey, we both want to win. And you tell your mind, I know you're here to help me and make things easier, but right now you can make things easier by trusting in the soul that put you here. Trust in the soul, the higher self that is streaming information to you all the time. And then you tell your mind, remember when you didn't know what to do and you let go, and then the realms of mysterious universe brought you the exact situation you needed. Then your mind becomes disarmed, it falls back, and you allow yourself to move like the wind and be trusting that the next thing that's going to happen in your life is meant to contribute to where you're going. That if you trust in the unknown and your intuition, you will be guided to the next step. So step 4 is, an element for is earth, right? So we know when to use earth as a catalyst for alchemy, when we feel like our ability to embody the energy we want to manifest is not as solid as we would like it to be. A lot of us have been there where our higher self knows where to go. We're being guided by our creative intuition. We're channeling. We're exploring the synchronicities of life and going where we're supposed to go. And we believe that. We trust in ourselves. We have confidence and self-belief and faith. But then our mind, our subconscious thoughts that may have dealt with this area of life before, is repeating patterns of energy because it is a program of information that repeats itself until you change it. So when you feel like you're having to always expand, you're moving into a progressive realization that you do deserve what you're manifesting, that you can hold that energy, that you are the person you need to be to make this happen. Feel that belief in yourself become as solid as the earth. Visualize all the layers and components of this planet that have to come together to make it whole. Feel that hard, thick glue that holds this entire planet together, and bring that frequency, tap into it and hold on to it, and bring it into your confidence, and bring it into the version of you in a parallel reality that you're trying to jump into. You want certain things in life, go in meditation or a clear-minded space and view a version of yourself as if you're watching a movie that already has everything you want. That is that timeline. That is the version of you in the future that you could tap into if you move into that pattern of energy. So merge with that energy and feel the solidification of earth, okay? Now, I appreciate you guys showing up to this video. I do videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I really am here to provide tools to the wizards, to the alchemists, to the interdimensional guardians, to the star seeds, understanding how to bring their very vibrant technology from that life into the one they're pivoting from. I also offer galactic quantum coaching. Check out the description below and you'll get more information once you hop onto the website. There's a lot that I offer in those galactic quantum coaching sessions, and it's too much to say here. So if you're interested, check out my website. All right, bye.